Namo Siddhanam. Namo Ayariyanam. Namo Vasayanam. Namo Loe Sauva Samunam. Eso Panchana Mukharo. Sovabhavat Pranasano. Mangalanam cha sarvesim. Padamam Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Satchidanand. Jai Satchidanand. I hope everybody can listen to me. We will try to understand today what really happens in the human form. Medically, doctors can tell us so many things, but we will try to understand as what Dada has revealed, the science of I and mind. We can understand I means what? Who I am. And my means whatever belongings is or are. Okay? Whatever my belongings are, I relate them with mine. So, let us try to understand, you were born and you are lying in the cradle. You were given a name. So, let us take the example. Pranam. Never mind. So, the name is given to who? Whom the name is given? Does it have a name? Does it have some kind of identity? Water bottle. Let us say that. This is a recorder, some electronics. This doesn't have life in it, but Pranavbhai has life in him. So basically, the name is given for identification only. Yes or no? To differentiate from others that, okay, he is Pranav Amin. For that child, for that baby, I think I should repeat that again. Okay. This is our human life. We were born. So imagine the baby is lying in the cradle and a name is given. We take example of Pranavbhai. Pranav is the name given to the baby. Why the name is given? When I say chair, nobody looks at the table and says this is chair. Why? Because we know that this is identified as table. And this is identified as chair. I am giving you a very gross example, may sound quite stupid. but we will try to understand that. So that baby, for that baby is living. This chair doesn't have the feeling that I am a chair. Don't call me table. Yes? So, for that baby, it is just a sound. It is not a name. It is just a sound. So what happens as the baby grows? Whoever who comes to the baby, what are they going to do? Hey, Pranav, Pranav, Pranav. What happens to the baby? It's a living entity. It's a living being, a human form. So what happens? What happens? The baby catches or somehow starts believing that Pranav means something connected with me. So what is going to happen over a period of time? Anybody calling by the word or the sound Pranav, which happens to be the name given to the baby, this baby will start looking around. Kavan. Everybody is looking at Kavan also. And Kavan is now become very alert. Why somebody is calling me? Kavan, is somebody calling you? Who is that? I see. The name was given for identity, for identification, but the child eventually starts believing, I am Kavan, I am Pranav. Right? For the child, he doesn't know what is name. But gradually, as he grows, he understands, he is told, this is your name. Who is this? Your grandpa, dada, dadi, mama, daddy, and so on. So now the child is growing, and what is happening? The name which was given for identity only, he becomes the owner of the name, saying that I am, my name is Pranav, and he says, I am Pranav. Now, imagine, who is Pranav? We will just try to understand this whole, pause this explanation over here, and we will try to understand that, we have been talking about the physical body, the electrical body, and the causal body, and the soul. Now, the soul entity is such, it is there in our body, wherever we can feel, wherever we have the touch sense, the soul is there. And this external hair and the nails, there is no soul there. That's why if someone touches, unless they disturb the root, we cannot know. So anyway, that is all within the body. There exists the physical body, and in this physical body we live all our life. While living in the body, what is happening? We pass through circumstances, and what is happening? While living in the body as I am Pranam. And also believing my name is Pranam. So, during the whole life, situations comes wherein you like certain situation, you don't like. Now what really happens, this liking, disliking stuff which is there in the presence of the pure soul. Pure soul is always there in the background, it is passively active. The soul is passively active in the sense it doesn't take part in any of the bodily activities, but its presence is necessary for the body to function. Now when we say body, it is body, that is the physical activity, then further it is mind, which is a subtle activity of thinking, speech, which is activity of speech, you have activity of making or functionality of making decisions and to foresee, like how we say the foresight. You have what is called reflective consciousness. There are some people who came by car, and if you ask, where is your car? Then you say, oh, it is kept on it is parked on the right side of the building, so and so, so and so, so and so. This color, that color, name, so and so. Sitting here, that faculty which goes out, sees and gives the information. I very well remember it was the third or fourth car only, but the color is this. So, that faculty is called reflective consciousness. It reflects what it has already seen. Then you have ego. What does the ego do? What it is not doing, it just claims, I am doing. What it is really not doing, it simply says, I am doing. So, what we have when we say body, it has body, mind, speech, reflective consciousness, intellect and ego. That is, this is all the body constitution, from physical to the subtle to the subtlest. And all this activity takes place in the presence of pure soul. Okay? Till now, is it okay? Okay. During our life, whatever circumstances we come across, there is liking aspect and there is disliking aspect. In the liking situation or in the disliking situation, we get into that situation, and so it is like comfortable or uncomfortable, or favorable or unfavorable situations. You like, you dislike. You means it is the ego which is I like, I didn't like. Okay? So, what happens while living the life, that is the lived out life, you are living by having this kind of feeling, I like, I don't like. And it is just not liking or disliking. Along with this liking or disliking, we as ego, as I am, what happens, whoever becomes party for our liking or disliking, it's like you like, you don't like. And the effect of that liking and disliking is, you end up imposing doership. It is because of him or her that I was happy or unhappy. immediate reaction is you tend to impose doership on others. Same thing, if you are doing certain things, then you impose doership on yourself. I did that. But the basic or common belief is when anything good is done, some guys, do you really need tea? I have extra. That's what I am also awake, wide open because of this little tea I have. I'll be very frank and open. Really. Because this is such a wonderful explanation given by Dadaji. It will really help you out. I know you're all tired. Some of you maybe. That's why you're not able to keep your eyes open. That was my condition also. So I had to do something. So I said, what's the best thing? They said, iced tea. Green tea. So anyway. So during the whole life, what happens? We are causing a new body in a causal form while living in this effective body, lived out body. So all through our life, we cause what we say as karma. Karma means creating, conceiving yourself in a causal form. No one else is doing in your life, but you are living with this liking and disliking and imposing doership on others or on self, not knowing exactly who is the doer. So whole life passes away like this, creating new causal body while living in the effective body. Whatever you do, you marry, you don't marry, you go around, vacation, study, job, business, whatever you do. But the basic thing what we pass through in life situation is suffering totally. You eat, it is suffering, you sleep, it is suffering, you go out, it is suffering, you go to college, it is suffering. But everything boils down to two extremes only, liking or disliking, happy or unhappy. So, at the end of the life, which is also a karmic result, it depends on the number of breaths, not on the number of years. So, it is like every individual comes with a fixed number of breaths, and the kind of life, the quality of life what we live, it depends, that's how we use our breath. So if we live our life with anger, pride, possessiveness, greed, likes and dislikes, extreme likes and dislikes, then in that condition we use a lot of our breaths. And the outcome is, these many breaths were good enough for you to live 100 years, but because you are using those breaths for these weaknesses, under the influence of these weaknesses, you end up living 50 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 70 years, that's wrong. How you spend your life, it solely depends on how you spend your life, how you use your breaths, and that indicates or that decides your lifespan. So when the person dies, what happens? The physical body remains here. It is disposed depending on the belief, religious belief. Either it is buried, it is burned, given to animals, or just left into the ocean. There are various ways people dispose depending on their religious belief. But what happens, what leaves from the body is the soul along with causal body and the electrical body. Now the electrical body within our body is responsible for all movements. It also gives glow to our body. So someone who is learned, someone who is wealthy, they have more glow. When we are sad, when we are upset, then the glow goes down. So people come to know, hey, what's the problem? Why are you upset? Anybody can know that easily. So anyway, that is the electrical body. Now depending on the type of causes, now the kind of life what we live, if I live with feeling of giving to others, giving happiness to others, then what happens, the kind of causal body I create gives me birth to heaven. If I pass my life worrying about things, not knowing what are the facts of life, so I keep on worrying, then in that worrying condition, I cause a body which gives me birth to animal or plant. If I live such that I don't cross the boundaries of humanity, then the causes that are laid, I come back to human form. If I spend my life hurting others for my happiness, anybody come in my way, I will finish it. Then, in that condition, you cause such a body which takes you to hell. There are 7 layers of hell. First 5 in the increasing order of heat, and the last 2 are increasing order of cold. The worst of the hell is very, 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 very cold. You can, if someone is done engineering, then they can know ethylene, which is what they use for making plastics, its regular temperature in liquid form is minus 102 degrees centigrade. And in that condition, if you throw or drop an iron ball into the ethylene, the ball crumples, it breaks into pieces. So we can understand if just minus 102 degrees can cause iron ball to break of its own, think of the physical body in the 7th hell. This is not a fairy tale, make-believe story, but this was revealed by Dada Bhagwan. And when our perception goes to that level, we will be able to understand and see, like how I am seeing you guys and you are seeing me. That is the power of pure perception, purified perception. So, this is how the body goes, you're born, and it goes on and on. So we come back to the situation that the child is born, name is Pranav, he lives his life, I am Pranav, I am Pranav. So, what happens? Believing name as I am, believing name as I am, we will identify that I as I am Pranav, small I. And we will identify the pure soul, believing pure soul as I am, as capital I. Clear? So what happens when you are living with the belief that I am Pranav? So that small I, in that state, what he does, all his life he creates himself, he conceives himself, and that's how he keeps wandering from one life to another. But the divinity of human life is such, he can cause maximum 8 lives for himself and come back to human form after the end of 8th life, and minimum 1 life. And that 1 life could be heaven, could be hell, could be plant, animal or human form again.
So you're saying that if you're in the human form, you do something bad, you can go back to any other forms for 8 lives.
Maximum.
Back.
Maximum.
Awesome.
Out of human form, 8 lives.
And you come back to human form.
Right. So it is like putting 8 plates. At the end, you come back to human form. So it's like if you have caused heaven for you, you'll go to heaven, then maybe you will go to hell, then you again come to man, go to heaven again, like that. But outside human form. Outside human form. So this is small I, and why does that individual wander from life to life? Because he, out of ignorance, has possessiveness, which is causal. Okay? Ananda, you don't try it.
No, I was thinking, we talked about this right before.
Yes.
You explained this to me, and I think
Louder.
I think it would make much more sense if you could visualize it, though, what you wrote down on the paper.
Yeah, but then I need a... I don't have that board, black board.
When you're saying it, but if you write on paper like that for me.
So we can do that later on, but we can do that later. So that small I with causal possessiveness, what happens? You are wandering. So that small I in that ignorant state is a wandering state. You have possession, possessiveness, you keep owning, and it is called causal ownership. Okay, so this is what is a normal wandering around. Although in human form, but you keep causing yourself new life, you keep conceiving yourself, and you keep wandering. And in that process, really what happens? Your ego keeps growing. Keeps growing. Growing means it become intensive. Wants to own more. The greed factor goes high and high and high. What is the limit? There is no sky. Sky is the limit. And they know that the sky is endless, and that is the limit of his greed. Okay. Now let us say you are realized. The whole story or this thing takes place in the presence of the pure soul only. Now, you have realized yourself who you are. So you know, I am pure soul. Your I state, so it is like, let us say, green is the body, this is soul, pure soul, and this is the belief part. Body means mind, speech, body, intellect, ego, reflective consciousness. This is pure soul, pure as purest pure soul forever, it is pure only, although it is with the body. But between this and this, in the human form, ego pops up. In other forms, ego is not there. In the human form, the ego of doership pops up. And that is the cause of building new karma, new body. Now you are realized. So you were facing I am Pranav. Now you know I am pure soul. The belief has changed. But this belief has changed forever. So you say with total conviction and decision, I am pure soul. That was the outcome of the Gnan Vidhi and blessing which we got from Dadaji. Now what happens in this condition? You know that I am pure soul, I am not prana. For sure you know I am not prana, but you know I am pure soul. What is the state of ownership? The state of ownership is only discharging ownership. For you to cause a new karma, you still have the feelings of likes and dislikes. But now, who likes and who dislikes? Who has the liking, who has the disliking? It is same I. But I, because I am pure soul, you know that the liking and disliking is of prana, not me as I am pure soul. So that part of liking and disliking, what remains is only discharging aspect. What was caused previously gets discharged. But he is not causing a new body. He is not conceiving himself. Capital I with small mind. That was small I with capital mind, causal ownership. And capital I with small mind, which means it is discharging ownership. And it is just a discharging effect only, like how we have bodily activities, it is the activity of ego, which just claims I like, I didn't like. Like, for example, this green tea was great. Someone can say that. Who is saying that the green tea was great? It is the ego which is saying, oh, I didn't like the tea. It is the same ego who is saying, I like, I didn't like. But because you have identified and realized that I am pure soul, you can understand the way to understand the body activities, you can understand the activities of the ego also. You can slowly understand the activity of mind as thoughts flowing situation. You can understand the activity of your speech. Before others listen to your speech, you listen to your speech. Same thing intellect, same thing reflective consciousness and ego also. So in that realized state, you observe, you perceive the activity of the body, that is prana, which is from physical to the subtlest, that is ego. Okay? When all the possessiveness is discharged, gets discharged, then what remains? It was with discharge ownership. So now I minus mine is what? I, small I, with capital my was a wandering state. Ever wandering state. With the capital I, without mind, small mind, is God state. Supreme Godhood state. So we are left with discharge ownership only. That's it. And in our realized state, we must observe, we must perceive ourselves. So in any condition, nothing happens to the pure soul at all. But in the presence of the pure soul, Haryana, from when have you become a crybaby? So that I is the belief state only, and it is the intermediate state only. Because of that small I, this was impure. The body was impure. And why in the presence of that small I, it was causing new causal body. And along with that, the soul had to, you can say, drag along with the body. But soul, wherever it is in its blissful state only. It is only I which feels, or who feels, I am upset, I am sad, I am happy, I am wandering. So when that realization takes place, and when we get away with all our discharge ownership, I minus mine, so the body is purified now. It has become normal. It is not there anymore. So now what happens? There is no causal body at all. At the end of this life in which this happens, the body remains here. It is taken care as per the belief. What leaves the body is no causal body, electrical body and the soul. Now this soul cannot have any body. So naturally it gets lifted to the top of the universe where all other liberated souls are there. But what is the state of that I? While not knowing who am I, under the influence of ignorance, feels bound. And when they get realized who I am, then that's the first freedom you experience, because now I am not prana. And finally, when you get away with all your ownership, all your files, all your relations, settle all them with amicable settlement, what happens? That I doesn't exist, because that job of I capital along with the discharge ownership was to settle the files. When all the files are settled, the body becomes pure, 100% pure. That I has no work to do now. It has not created any new body. And that's so it is I who experience that I am bound. It is I who feels I am freed. It is I who feels I am liberated. So we don't have to worry about the soul, that my soul needs liberation. No, I need liberation. I need happiness and peace. That's what it is. This is Dada's science. He has the knowledge and understanding of how to remove the bondage of ego with the body. And because of his enlightened state in the non-BD process, his experience becomes ours. He makes us speak the qualities of the pure soul and the body. Gives a clear demarcation of how the pure soul is pure soul and how the body is body. And at the end of that, because it is his experience state, it opens our experience also. And we start saying, who was saying, I am prana, sure, with total conviction and decision. I am prana, he says, with total conviction and decision, I am pure soul. And this thing happens only once in the whole span of life, not one life, span of lives. And it finally culminates into total freedom, period. So we all are living a life with total freedom, which will eventually open our liberation. But we have no hurry for that. In this liberated state itself, we are enjoying life. And in that, we must ensure that we live with 9 diamonds. The reason is we have known the principle, the science of life, that if anything goes out from this body, for settlement it must come back to me. So I don't want to hurt anyone because I don't want to get hurt back. So simple. That's it. I, small I, us, big my, is wandering state. I, capital I, through self-realization by the grace of Dada, what remains is discharging ownership small mind, which is our inside journey. Finally, capital I minus small mind is our Godhood state, supreme Godhood state. This is no joke, this is happening and you can experience this very well. Thank you for listening. You can ask questions, I can have my tea. This is no body.
So that when you're experiencing like any type of happiness, the Atma happiness, let's say you're doing prayers or your satsang or whatever, that is the capital I that's experiencing.
Realized I. What you say? Realized I.
Is experiencing that happiness, correct?
Yes, it's not happiness because it is seeking strength. By saying those prayers, it is seeking strength, it is trying to help run out to purify.
So who's experiencing that happiness?
You only as I.
The I minus the mind?
No, I.
Just the I.
That's I. But it is realized I.
Right.
Realized I, which is knowing, who is knowing that I am with discharge ownership. It is not a causal ownership. So your journey has begun from outside to inside, which was outside only in a wandering state, but now it is inside.
So it's that I experiencing the I minus the mind.
Right, I is only experiencing that.
Yeah.
Yes. What's your name? Hello? Kriya? What is your name? Kriya. Who are you? Kriya. Interesting. Something right? Okay. It is very interesting. Very interesting. Normally we are interested in what others are doing, but with this understanding you will be well focused on what you are doing. And at the same time you also know what you must do for your happiness. So simple. And when you can take care of yourself very well, others will be taken care effortlessly. Keep shooting now.
You said there is a soul, there is an electrical body, and then there is the causal body.
Correct.
And then you said once you get liberated, or when you changes your one body to the other body, electrical soul helps. I forgot the word. Electrical body helps you to provides the energy for soul to go to one place. How does the actually energy comes from?
See, that energy is latent within your body. It is fixed. That is the reason it is enough for you to survive for your whole life, 80 years, 100 years. Just imagine how does your heart functions non-stop for 80 years or 100 years. How long it can stop without dying? Doctor, how long can the heart stop without dying? Okay. So, when we live the kind of life and food what we take, it disturbs the inner stability, inner functioning. That's how we get into trouble. Okay, so electrical body, it works independently. But just imagine, it just doesn't allow to, it doesn't work of its own. You decided to come, you are here. You decided to sit there, you are there. Others have decided to sit wherever they are. On that. Everything is your decision only. So, that's how your life is. You are whole and soul responsible for your life. Here we must understand that and make the best use of that power of decision. Which Dada has already said, made us realize ourselves, and we are saying, I am pure soul. In that realized state, what do? That realized state, your belief is towards the pure soul, as I am pure soul. And the outside discharging aspect which is there, you take care of that, while living as I am pure soul. What it means, that power of perception was not there at all, to see as it is. But with the pure soul state, with the self-realization, you have started seeing yourself as pure soul, and you have started functioning, you started using the power of perception. So, functioning or living as Pooja's husband, you live as husband. With the kids, you are as father. With your parents, you are as son. With your father-in-law, you are son-in-law. In your office, you hold a position so and so, so and so. What happens? As per the American thing, you are a citizen of America. And you are human. All these identities are there. And you have to play your part depending on the situation you are put into. Don't think that you know everything. Feel free to ask. Because if you are asking, then many other people's questions will also get answered. You want to say something?
No, I was getting tired.
You're getting what?
I was like, I need to like stand up so I can go back.
Deepakanandji, you said after human birth, 8 lives before you get back, maximum 8 lives before you get into human birth. Now, after getting Dada's Gnan, now we understand what should we do to go towards moksha, right? Up till now, it was just a endless cycle of
no other goal.
no other goal.
You are already programmed now. Your GPS is fixed, blocked, locked.
Okay. Now, after this birth, based on whatever you have done in your whole life, whatever we did before we getting done or whatever, we go through heaven or hell, whatever, and then whatever we have to go through to come back in the human form. How do we know that when we get back into human form, we will be born into a family or born to a place which is in Dada or which is also working towards moksha?
Look
or
at your
something?
example only, how Kavan has come to your family. Before he probably knows you and other people, he knows Dada very well. See? All the kids who are born in the Mahatma family, how are they exposed to this science? It is working.
So even they say, even if whatever you do, maximum 8 births, the 9th birth that you have, you will probably fall back in the same channel of going towards Gnan in Dada's group, something like that.
Also, one more thing, because of this realization, all the lower life forms are closed for you. You can be a good angel or good human only. The reason, I don't want to hurt anyone through my thought, speech and action. What is that really doing? We don't know what is happening, but we keep saying that. And unknowingly, we are programming ourselves that other lower life forms, we will never be going. Acceptance are there, but you don't have to quote them. Right? That's what. You have no worries. Hakuna Matata. It's part of the day. That's what. And no worries means you cannot go in animal or plant. Not possible.
Okay, so we say, Man vacham kaya, pani vartan koi na dushman pade. I don't want to hurt anyone, right? Many times it happens that you do things that you know you should not, or you don't want to, but you end up doing it. You know that's wrong, or that's not for you, or you should not be doing it, but you still do it because the more you try to stop it, the more forcefully it happens. But it is unminding what you have brought, understandable. Now, along with Dada's na, how would that work? Because now you're doing something that.
Under normal condition, with the realization, many things get eliminated. In the sense, there are many cases wherein people used to eat non-vegetarian food. Don't disturb now, Mr. Pranam. This is never-ending thing. That's why. So, alcohol. There were people who were alcoholic. There were people who were eating meat and all that stuff. You know, after the Gnan Vidhi, they don't know how did that go away. There were people who used to use abusive language. It went, just got erased. So the effect of Gnan is fantastic. Almost like evident weaknesses just don't remain. But if there are cases where people have not been eating before the Gnan Vidhi, they were not eating, but now they are eating. How can such a thing happen? The reason is, during the Gnan Vidhi, probably you fell asleep, which is very much possible. During the Gnan Vidhi, you were not able to speak, probably because it was in Gujarati, and you could not catch all the words. It is not important to understand, but you must focus on what is being spoken and you must speak as it is. Language is no barrier. But this is the thing. Yet, if someone is having such kind of a thing, we can work on it. We can work on it. The reason is, whatever we eat, it has the effect of shrouding our basic cognition power also. Whatever you eat, the eating itself brings you down. It's like if you overeat, you cannot drive properly. If you have alcohol and drive, you cannot do it properly. So all these matters. And gradually when your awareness goes to that level, then what happens is you are so much conscious, like any mother who is caring. Khushbu is here? Yes. You can ask her, she takes care of her sleep, her medication, her food. looking at the baby inside? Yes or no? Naturally. And if she doesn't do, her mother will tell, because they are knowledgeable about it. Hey, you cannot be doing this, you cannot be doing that. Focus on this, focus on that. Why? Because it is going to affect the baby. So for baby, if you can do all that, for your own self, are you not supposed to be doing something for your own self? That's all. So gradually, just imagine Lord Mahavir, during his 12.5 years, ભલે તને શું થયું? ઓ ભાઈ, એનું નામ શું છે? એનું નામ શું છે? બધું આવડે છે એને નામ. હમણાં ઇન્ડિયા જઈને આને ઉક્તિ કરાતું હશે. સારા ડાયા છોકરાઓ રડે નહીં હવે ભાઈ. ઓ ભાઈ, રડાતું હશે એ દોસ્ત. બાય. આખું ગુજરાતી બોલે છે. એને કે તને ભૂખ લાગી, હસતો કેટલી વાર થઈ ગઈ. એટલે આપણે નહીં બોલે એવું બોલે. See, that's what it is. So we can work on it. And I was talking about Lord Mahavir. In his 12.5 years, from the time he left his home and he went on self-purification, it took 12.5 years. And in those 12.5 years, like you can multiply with 365 days, he ate for some 300 to 400 days only. Not that he was not getting hungry, but because he wanted to keep himself alert, what is going on inside. And that last body is also very powerful. He doesn't need a lot of fuel. With minimum fuel, it can work nicely. That is the thing. So it doesn't matter, we may be eating 3 or 4 times a day and still you feel hungry. It is because of the body of today's time. But when it is good time, when you can liberate yourself, that time naturally we will get that kind of a body. We don't have to worry about this, because that is also a karmic result only. So that's one. So gradually you will come to that understanding and you will not eat certain things, like how a mother takes care, wants to take care of the baby. You will learn how will you take care of your own self. And it is like your sixth sense open naturally. Whenever you doubt, you will never put your hands into it at all, naturally. Like naturally how you have those instincts and you don't do certain things, naturally this is also going to happen.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on things that things that go away once you take Gnan, or things that
Once you take Gnan, things
no
go away.
you said that after Gnan many people stop eating non-veg or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Now there are a lot of other things, right, that you should not be doing.
Yes, very much.
Very
Well,
much.
what is the safe boundary?
Mhm.
Let us talk about that. So it is like the first one is the barbed wire fence. You may cross over and come back. The second one is the electric wire guard. If you touch that, you are done. What is that? The barbed wire fence is you hurt someone, you don't follow the Agna, you can come back. But if you cross the boundary of morality, then this knowledge won't persist, will not be there. Then you have to depend on grace of Gnani again. And probably he can help you out. So you cannot cross the boundary of morality. If you cross the boundary of morality, then you have touched the electric fence.
What is the boundary of morality?
Extramarital relations. With self-realization, you should have known the facts of life. How can you cross those limits? It is where you have to be careful. When you find it difficult to handle your own body, it becomes very difficult to handle your wife. How can you cross that boundary and have any relation with a third person? Unimaginable. It only happens when you cross the boundary of your right understanding. And that will not bring you back into Gnana. You may say, you will talk nice, I know everything, but your worldly life, how will that be? How will be your inner state? That's why it's the word of caution given to us, saying that if you skip the agnas, you can come back. But if you cross this second boundary, God bless you. That's the thing.
ના એટલે કારણ કે ઓલું સાંભળ્યું છે ને કે દાદાજી બોલેલા કે માંસ ને દારૂ ને એવું લેશો તો અમારી જવાબદારી નહીં કેવું સમથિંગ લાઈક દેટ. Trying to understand that.
That is also the Bhagavad only. You will find it difficult to remain in the agnas. That is it.
The other electrocution is Gnanini Viratna as a boundary.
You can say that, but still that is again agna.
Agnabhang.
It is not that bad.
Yeah.
But those are all exceptions. That is there. I cannot fall asleep now because of the tea. Yes.
My question.
Yes.
There's quite a few parents. Young
Oh
parents.
yes, yes, very much.
So, like,
Louder.
Louder please.
પહેલા કે we are uncertified father and uncertified mother.
Correct.
બરાબર? તો હવે આપણે જ્યારે છોકરાઓ મોટા થાય and they grow old, let's say 13, 14, 16 સુધી, like, so were we always uncertified? And how do we
That
get
is
certified?
the reason how I have interpreted that without knowledge, without self-realization, yes, you were uncertified parents. But now with the Gnana and self-realization, you can become a certified parent. So, understand your responsibility and play your part. You understand?
So when the kids do things that we don't like, even after telling them,
Yes.
is that term certifiedness?
No. You have to now really work on it. Not considering them as your children, but you have to see that they are you only. So dealing with them will be a challenge. And they are not dumb guys. But it will take little time. But they will come out of it. But what happens? We lose patience. We don't want to deal with them. We just say, okay, mommy will take care of you. Sometimes it happens like that. No. It's a tough job. It's a tough job. It is like getting things done from your subordinate. That is also not easy. But at least he has some motivation. That's why he keeps working. Same way you have to motivate your children. Now, also one more thing. If they are mischievous, don't worry about that. There is something in him who wants to do something, but he doesn't have an direction. So if he's a naughty guy, troublemaker, fine, he's a good boy. He's just like waiting for an opportunity, the right direction. And when he gets the right direction, you don't even have to tell him anything. You'll find his way till the end. But in the meantime, you have to bear with him. Just understand and guard him that he doesn't cross any boundary and hurt himself. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. We must also understand the very fact that they have come into this family, or family where they have done and all that. So they have a great background. Without that, they cannot come. But there are other viruses also could be there. So you have to take care of those infections which he has brought along with him. And don't get impatient. Learn to handle with them. Handle the situation, no problem. And don't take it very seriously also. Don't take it that lightly also. In between. Very important. And love is the best solution for every individual. Very important. Yes, please.